right now, so we will get ready. We've got the RCMP ProActive Recruiting Unit on deck, as well as if you have any questions, you can directly message the Prince Albert Police Services, or you can put your question out so that everybody could see and get the answer, because everybody will likely, there'll be others with the same question. So without further delay, we'll move forward to the RCMP Proactive Recruiting Unit. Please go ahead.
Good day. Thanks, Kara. Good day, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Dan Redicup. I'm a constable with the RCMP. I've been in the force almost 16 years. All my service has been here in Saskatchewan. And I've got a partner. She's with me. I don't see her here yet, but I'll let her introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Constable Renee Breckner, and I'm with the RCMP Recruiting Unit as well. I have about 20 years service with the RCMP, and I'm from a small town in Saskatchewan. Kind of got interested in my grade 12 year. I've been posted in 3 different spots, so Melfort, La Ronge, and now Saskatoon. So that just shows that we do move around a little bit. So thanks for having us today. This is a really quick moment for us, so we're going to try and get through everything as fast as we can here. So this is a map of Canada, obviously. We're Canada's national police force. So we actually have 20,000 police officers across Canada. So we hire big numbers every year. We're hiring all year round. So we hire typically over 1,000 police officers per year. So it's always a good time to be interested. It's just not like twice a year. We have training happening, troops going in almost every week in Regina, Saskatchewan. So you'll notice all the dots on the map represent RCMP detachments. So there are quite a few across the country, and you have to be willing to be posted anywhere. Typically, you get to pick 3 provinces you'd be willing to go to. They narrow down the province, and then you kind of get posted there. And we move around every kind of 3 to 5 years. So if you want to come back to Saskatchewan, obviously that would be first on your list. But if you want to try unique places like Northwest Territories, Yukon, BC, those are always available to you.
So the basic qualifications that you need to apply is you got to be 18 years old to apply, okay? And 19 years old by the time you graduate from training. You have to have a valid unrestricted driver's license. You need to have your grade 12 diploma or equivalent, adult GED, whatever it is. Not necessarily, we don't care of what you get, but as long as you go, walk across that stage, get that piece of paper that says I graduated from grade 12, that is all we require from you. And you also have to have no criminal record.
Okay, so kind of life at Depot is in Regina, as I mentioned before. You will spend 6.5 months at Regina, and you will live on base. So you stay on base, and all your food and accommodations are paid for. And we also give you a training allowance. So you make about $525 per week, and that's just money in your pocket. Let's say on the weekend you do have them, those days off. You might want to travel back home and see family, or just keep that money for yourself for later. So training's pretty intense. You're in a troop of 32 people from across Canada, so it's really unique. You might have people in your troop from Nunavut, Newfoundland, or BC, and you are family for that 6.5 months. So it's kind of like a trade school combined into 6.5 months. So it's really intense and it's a lot of work, but once you're there, it's well worth it.
So while you're at training, you're going to go into have different classes per se. So you're going to see there, you got applied police sciences. You're going to have 432 hours of that. And that's classroom setting type of stuff. You're going to learn the history of the RCMP, do some scenario-based training, that type of things. You're going to have firearms class where you're going to learn to shoot all the guns that the RCMP have for you to shoot. You don't have to have ever shot a gun or have your PAL or anything like that. We will teach you on how to do it safely and proficiently. You're going to have operational conditioning, for lack of a better term, a jacked up phys ed class, okay? They're going to put you through your paces. As you can see in the picture, they're running obstacles. There's lots of obstacle courses at base for you to utilize, as well as a big gym and a big gymnasium. You're going to have police defensive tactics and immediate action rapid deployment. Okay. Here you're going to learn to arrest somebody, use your handcuffs, fight if necessary, access the tools on your belt, you know, whether it's your pepper spray, baton, pistol, taser, whatever it may be. Okay. And you're going to do that in a safe and controlled area. Immediate action rapid deployment is just learning to maybe go to an active shooter in a school or something like that, and learning how to access the building and how to go through it. You're going to have police driving unit where you're going to learn to drive a police car. Again, nothing really different than any other car, except you got lights and sirens that you got to learn to activate and maybe work on a computer. All right. We do have 4 different tracks at our base. One simulates high-speed chases. One's an obstacle avoidance track, you know, to replicate that deer jumping out from the ditch. You got to avoid it. One's a skills track, trying to get in to tight spaces, reversing, parallel parking, all that type of stuff. And then we have a 4x4 track. You know, learn to drive a 4x4 truck up a hill, through ditches, whatever it may be. After that, you're going to have a drill and deployment. We are paramilitary, so we do take some things from the military and incorporate it. And that's where you learn to march together as a troop. And that's how you get around base. You'll learn to polish your boots, iron your clothes, make your beds, all that type of fun stuff. And in that class, you will get an exposure to pepper spray. You'll also have 41 hours of other stuff, and those will be guest speakers coming in, talk about different things as well.
Okay, so as Prince Albert Police Service mentioned or showed on their video, there are a lot of specialties that you can get into in any police service. So the RCMP, I'd like to compare us to the FBI or the shows that you see on TV. We have all the specialties. So we actually have 150 different jobs that you can get into as you go through your career. So we've just kind of listed some of the common ones. When you get out of training, you're known as what we call a general duty police officer. So you're an investigator, you're attending all those 911 calls that come through, also dealing with anything traffic wise, everything that's happening in your community. And you're gonna really figure out what interests you. Maybe you like doing, you know, solving some major crime investigations. So maybe you wanna specialize and go into the major crime unit, or you had some fraud files and maybe you really wanna just, you know, direct your career into the financial crime unit, or there's drug sections, undercover operations. We also have marine services. So you can be at either of the coasts of Canada or the Great Lakes doing police work on a boat. We have border enforcement, national security, human trafficking, and another common one is police dog services. So there's and SWAT team is our emergency response team. So there's 150 different things that you can get into as a police officer, as an investigator, and you will really figure out what interests you and which direction you want to take your career. So you don't have to have a background in any of these things. We will send you for training. We send people all over Canada for training in Ottawa, Chilliwack, Regina to learn the skills needed for some of these specialties. So the sky is the limit. And so you don't always have to do small town policing. You can get into some of these specialties and really develop as an investigator.
So if you guys want more information, a little more in-depth information, this is our website. You go onto it, there's videos to see, and it's all the information that you need on how to apply and what to expect as you go through the process. So just write that down, take a look at it on your own time, and if by chance you have any questions in regards to anything, you can, on the next slide, email us at our email address right there. Okay, so write that down as well. You can send us any questions that you may have.
I think what we can cover off is some of the application processes. We don't have a slide for that particularly, but everything, as we mentioned on this website, everything is online. So when you're ready to apply and you've met those basic requirements, you're going to go onto this website and then you're going to apply online. They'll notify us that you've applied, and Ottawa will let us know here in Saskatchewan, and we will set you up for things like an entrance exam. So there's like an aptitude test you have to take. Once you pass there's some interviews, polygraph, background checks, things like that, health assessments. And so that can take about a year to get through. But once you get through those application stages, that's when we will send you to Regina, to depot to train. So it might seem like a lot of things, but we are sending you for training, giving you a full-time job. So those are just some little things that you have to get through. And obviously everyone does make it through, not everyone, but it's the steps that you need to take to get through the training. Do you just want to cover off salary and benefits, Dan?
Sure. When you guys graduate from training, or actually at training, you get that allowance. When you graduate, you're going to make just over $53,000 a year. You're going to be on a 6-month probationary, or I should say not probation, field coaching course where you go with a experienced member, and they're going to kind of show you the ropes, because we can't teach everything at depot. Once you pass that 6 months, you're going to get a $15,000 raise. And then you're going to get a raise at 1, 2, and 3 years. You're going to max out at what a first-class constable makes with the RCMP, which is just over $86,000. Now that's base salary. Overtime, on-call is above and beyond that. Most officers right now that are out there make well over $100,000 a year. And then if you promote, we have 13 ranks within the RCMP. You also get a raise with those the higher you promote.
Okay, and also another great benefit is you can retire after 25 years with full federal government pension. So imagine if you get in at 18, 19 years old, you're retired super early, so you can keep going with your career, or you can maybe retire and get a second job, or just retire. So 25 years isn't a lot of time to spend. So it's a great pension benefit for you as well. And we have good medical, dental, and family health plans for everyone who does join. So that's important to know as well.
Anybody have any questions in regards to anything?
So I guess I would give some advice if no one has any questions. We always tell people, if you're interested in police work, just always try improving your skills. So you don't have to go off to post-secondary, as Dan mentioned. You just need your grade 12 high school diploma. You can work, go post-secondary, travel, or volunteer, because what the RCMP are looking for is people with life experience and maturity. So even though you can apply at 18, we kind of want that life experience and maturity. And that goes, you can get that from a variety of ways, and everybody matures at very different ages. So my advice is, if you're interested in doing post-secondary, it doesn't have to be in a criminal justice field. It can be any field. We hire people from a variety of different backgrounds. And so we would love to have you apply. It's a great career, as mentioned in the previous video. Every day is a different day. You can do, snowmobile patrols, ATV patrols, boat patrols. Like, there's so many things that you can do in a day, and lots of opportunity to work within a community and get to know a community. So it's a great job that way. Any questions?
I know sometimes we get asked, what's the difference between a municipal force like PAPS and the RCMP? Policing wise, nothing really. Policing is policing. No matter where you go, you're going to deal with the same type of things. Kind of the main things is PA will stay in PA, and the RCMP, we will cover kind of everything around the rural areas. Some smaller cities will have the RCMP instead of a municipal force, stuff like that. So pay probably and benefits would be a little different. Uniforms are a little different, but ultimately policing is policing. You'll do the same type of thing no matter where you are. So it's just up to you to decide on where you want to go.
We do have a question. I think we have a couple of questions. Abel Helkett says he has a question. Abel, if you can just type in your question, that would be great. And Branda Robillard has asked, if obtained a security license, does police intake new recruits in Prince Albert?
Okay, that might be more directed to Prince Albert City Police, I think.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't answer that question.
For the RCMP, the new recruits will always go to Regina to train. If you're looking at PAPS, then yeah, they will have their own way of doing things, but I believe they go down to Regina as well to train. But I think at a different spot. I think it's the U of R that they go. So.
Any other questions? Do we have one coming in? Let's see.
Okay, Abel, if you didn't want to type it here, by all means, send us an email with your question and we'll answer. We'll get back to you as soon as we can with that.
Malvina Obashan asks, when are your deadlines for applications?
So
we don't really have any deadlines. It's just when you're ready and you go through the whole application and you send it in, and that's the start of the process. You can start anytime that you want, and you got to go to our rcmpcareers.ca website to do that. We don't have an end date or anything like that. Just start when you're ready and we'll get you through the process.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. It's now 10:15, so we have to move on to our next presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Athabasca Catering. Athabasca Catering, if you would like to share your